There's a certain aspect of the music of Johann Sebastian Bach that's like, it's so sophisticated. It's like, take your medicine. It's good for you. But it really is quite delightful. Of course, what's not to like with the haunted house music of Johann Sebastian Bach's toccata and fugue in D minor, starting so fa sol, fa me re do ti do, and notice that's what we call a mordant at the beginning. We have all sorts of ornamentation, these decorative, filigree aspects of the Baroque. The most popular being the trill. Just move your fingers or wave your voice as fast as possible. But the mordant and the inverted mordant, you just briefly go to the neighbor note above or below, and the truly wonderfully evil sound of a diminished seventh chord. Ti, re, fa, le, and that being with a do coming up or down below as a fundamental, as a pedal. Ti, do, really dissonant, wow! Of course, it's a touch piece, a toccata, to show the keyboard player's virtuosity, and the featured fugue in G minor. Oh, fugue, we better talk about fugue. Fugues as opposed to rounds. With rounds, exact imitative counterpoint, right? At the unison, an octave, do, 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 re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, re, mi, fa, sol. But with fugues, not only are the entrances tend to be at the fifth, as in do, 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 re, mi, fa, sol, but also a little bit of, shall we say, jamming around, maybe shooting for the moon, as do, 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 re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 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 re, mi, fa, sol. It's called the little fugue in G minor because Bach later went back and wrote another fugue in G minor, which is considerably longer, hence the great fugue. This one may be the better known. And first of all, it outlines a minor triad in G minor as do, so, me, filling in re, do, ti, allusion to the dominant chord and G minor, ti, re, so, then on so, decorative filigree, do, so, me, re, so, and then elaborate on a little bit more, do, re, me, do, re, so, fa, me, do, ti, re, do, so, la, ti, do, re, and then you get the second statement. Oh, in a fugue, it would be too simple, wouldn't it, to just call them themes? No, it's like legalese. We talk about the statement of the tonic as the subject. When the statement comes back in another voice, in this case it's soprano and then alto, and it's called the answer, coincidentally enough, in this context. And now, what we have is a statement in the dominant. And so, re, te, la, so. And then we'll have another statement in the tenor, and that'll be, oh, the filigree. The subject has turned into a counter-subject as the subject evolved and became more decorative and accompanimental. And by now, of course, you've got two hands of the keyboard fully occupied. And now there's a statement in the tenor. What's going to happen? The tenor comes in with another statement of the subject in the tonic. With the tenor part, you've got your left hand going, and the right hand is playing both the soprano and alto part. And it's pretty tricky, but Bach does cheat a little bit in that he makes the alto part kind of disappear for a while, and then the soprano part kind of disappear for a while. So there's an illusion of four-part harmony, but it really tain't so. And then the bass will come in with the statement. Oh, it's the bass when you get the pedals. The answer? The feet have to be involved. Now, you may notice you have 10 toes, and you have 10 fingers. The 10 fingers can play individual notes, not so much the 10 toes. So what Bach and any other composer for organ has to do when using the foot pedals as opposed to the manuals, manual labor, right, hand labor. And often there are 2 or even 3, I can't do that, manuals. Well, obviously, 2 hands, you only play 2 manuals at once, right? It's kind of parallel to racks of keyboards that synthesizer performers started using in 1960 rock and roll to the present. There are further harmonic wiggles and adventures, 2 statements in the relative major, which we now know is B flat major, oh yes, and statements in C minor, and then finally coming back for a resounding conclusion on the tonic in G with a big pedal point D. And there are several false statements of the themes. There are several times when the themes, when the subject overlaps kind of on top of itself. Not on this one, some few, and that's known as stretto. All sorts of devices. Oh, and whenever, and this is true even way back after the statement of the subject and the answer, that there will be these little break sections that are really not part of the fugue itself, and they are called episodes. And in this case, there are 2 episodes. One that goes da-dum, dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, and the other, which is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Series of 8 notes with longer half notes, and those half notes, there'll be a 2-part counterpoint. And at the last minute, Picardy 3rd major. And speaking of foot pedals, the Passacaglia in C minor with its ominous theme. Passacaglia, of course, being that variations on a fixed bass line, really pretty much synonymous with the ground bass, as we saw with Purcell. This one, do, so, me, fa, so, re, me, ti, do, fa, so, do. And again, it's got one of those ominous squashed intervals of re, me, ti. The equivalent of a third, but how different. Ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti. 4 notes squashed in there. As opposed to the third usage. Do, re, mi, re, do. Same overall number of half steps, but totally different psychological feel. The difference between happy and tragic. Oh, and of course the variations. Delicate, figurine, extremely virtuosic, downright alarming. The Kothen period is quite distinctive, and as we mentioned, it features a lot of instrumentalism, particularly the 6 Brandenburg concerti. Now, they actually weren't rightly thought of as a complete set initially. No, as a matter of fact, some of them may have been composed as far back as the Weimar period. Bach bundled them up because even though he was the court composer at Kothen, he was already looking for some other gig, and so he sent 6 of his best concerti off to the Duke of Brandenburg with a very sniveling message, kowtowing, "Oh, your highness, your nobleness," showing off his best work. And indeed, critics have said that these 6 concerti are really among the best ever written in the Baroque, a pinnacle of composition in its day. And they feature just about all the instrumental resources that Bach had at his disposal in Kothen, including, in the first Brandenburg Concerto, 3 oboes, but also 2 French horns and 1 solo violin. The French hornists in the first Brandenburg Concerto were probably special visitors in town. And we'll talk about this more in the exam, because this will be a featured piece, the first movement. It is, once again, a pinnacle of Baroque writing. Fantastic. But just to show you the kind of triadic thought process that occurs to a great Baroque composer, how's this for a main melody? And it really rocks, this opening melody, just an ascending major triad in F. Do, mi, so, do, so, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, and then spinning out, as is so often the case with sprung melodies from the Baroque. Second Brandenburg Concerto, also a pinnacle. Also in F major, shooting for the moon, also triadic, but now taking the upper part of the scale and going again. Do, so, mi, fa, so, mi, fa, so, do, so, mi, fa, so, mi, fa, so, do, so. And this one scored for flute, transverse flute, oboe 2, trumpet, solo violin, and strings. The third one just delves deeply into string writing with divisi, divided. 3-part violins, 3-part violas, 3-part celli. Wow. While for strings has been done in a variety of other modes, including Walter, now Wendy Carlos's seminal switched on Bach for Moog synthesizer back in the 60s. And we'll hear several other renditions of Bach works, mostly keyboard beyond this, done on the Moog. But this one, in the second movement, Walter, at the time, now Wendy, I guess I should just probably call her Wendy now, improvises, but basically the whole movement. Bach only provides 2 linking chords in E minor from that first G major. Both the 3rd and the 4th Brandenburg Concerti are in G major. First and second are in F. Wendy spills out this wonderful improvisation. Matter of fact, several other renditions were recorded on other electronic albums, and 3 times total, and each time totally different. Fantastic. The 4th, not a barrier in providing us with 2 transverse flutes, Blockflöte, with the strings. 5th Brandenburg Concerto, just as triadically oriented as the first. Another ascending triad, but now in D major. Do, mi, so, do. The 5th is so famous that it's the only one of the 6 that actually merits its own article, at least right now, on Wikipedia. Stay tuned, maybe we'll get the first one at least in a second. And the 6th, quite a mighty structure in all low strings. If these ghostly wonders from the past are not enough, Bach also provides us with a cornucopia of solo keyboard pieces, but now probably intended for harpsichord or even clavichord, that very tiny instrument. It was one of Bach's favorites. It has touch sensitivity, vibrato, but the dynamics tragically only range from pianissimo to mezzo piano. The piano, the real piano, has been invented by
Bartolomeo Cristofori.
It takes a long while to get accepted, but Bach is an early adapter, and so not inappropriate. We'll hear a little piano. And ironically, Bach is standard fare for keyboard players, particularly pianists, to the present day. Even temperament has now taken the fore. And once again, Bach is an early promoter of not only even temperament, or well temperament as they called it. It's kind of a variant of even temperament, but of course of piano. And the deal is, in the old days, the few tonalities that you could use on a keyboard sounded great and sounded nuanced. There were a characteristic different feel of a C major from a G major. The half steps and whole steps were ever so slightly different. Now, for those of you with perfect pitch, still even temperament follows along a certain track. But for the rest of us, man, those 12 keys, there's a lot of similarity. Nonetheless, Bach takes a wander over, shall we say, a circle of fifths. Well, kind of. Climbing new heights, no question about that. And the deal is he starts in C major. These are preludes and fugues in each of 24 keys, 12 major keys and 12 minor keys. And as he climbs up that tonality hill, you will find that the preludes tend to be semi-improvisational and sometimes very advanced harmonistically. First one starts with just a seemingly innocent ascending major triad once again, now in C major, do, mi, so, do, mi. But then further adventures. The first fugue climbs upwards as Do, re, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, la, re, so, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Second prelude is an absolute tumult of C minor, here heard from Whitney Cardinals. Amazing. Building up to quite striking dissonances. And then the second fugue is in 3 voices. The first fugue was in 4. In general, the more voices you have, the slower the fugue. There's actually at least one 6-voice fugue. And mind you, this is just with 2 hands. There's no feet, no foot pedals on these keyboards. Thank you very much. So this is a fast one, so it only has 3 voices. And we have C melodic, harmonic, minor. Do, ti, do, sol, la. That's harmonic so far. Do, ti, do, re, so. Do, ti, do, re, fa, sol, la, so, fa, me. Absolutely. And then, of course, imitation of the 5th, und swan. As if these fugues aren't crazy enough, he shows brilliance even with the limited resources of pedagogical 2-part writing. He writes a series of little pieces for Johann Bach. These little inventions, 15 2-part inventions and 15 3-part inventions, are little marvels in and of themselves. With steel drums from
Trinidad and Tobago off the coast of South America.
Second one, back with a Moog synthesizer. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, le, so, fa, me, re. Fantastic. And once again, that's a diminished 7th. Well, once again, it's a diminished interval. This time it's a diminished 7th. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. It's really the equivalent of, what, a major 6th? And the one in F major, yep, he likes those ascending major triads in F. How about do, mi, so, do, ti, la, so.